Ms. Walsh, isn't it true that you are doing this so that I will stop talking about you?
Absolutely not.
Then why are you doing it?
Can I answer that truthfully with my opinion? I mean,
The door's been opened. You are to answer all questions, honestly and openly. Yeah.
because I think that you are obsessed with me. I think you're mentally unstable and you scare me.
So these are your opinions of me.
Yes.
Are you a therapist?
No, I'm not.
Ms. Walsh, isn't it true the reason that you went down to the courthouse on January 13th, 2022 to obtain a temporary personal restraining order was because I had just read off on January 13th a complaint out of California where LAWna, Oriani, and Vanessa Walsh were listed as co-defendants? Yes or no?
No.
It has nothing to do with my live feed on January 13th, 2022, that I said I would be turning over all evidence to Judy Lynn Fox to help her.
You know, I actually got the paperwork before that live. I just didn't turn it in until the 14th.
Ms. Walsh, do you recall on August 6, 2021 when I said I would be putting together a timeline of events of a sex scandal on YouTube?
On what date?
August 6, 2021. Do you recall this conversation?
Not on that date, no.
If you keep flipping through, I think you're going to come across that exhibit.
You're going to need to direct this witness to whatever you are referring to, Ms. Oriani.
I believe in that double H on August 6, 2021. I referenced to you that we have to sit down and put all of our stuff together so that we can come up with a timeline of all the harassing that has been happening to us.
That is not what we were discussing on August 6th.
What does it say there?
Objection to the question. What does it say there?
What does it say in the HH document that you're looking at?
Oriani, I'm going to sustain the objection at this point. You're talking about a 16-page exhibit, and there's really no focus on your question that I'm going to be able to understand.
Ms. Walsh, are you aware of a sex scandal that happened May 27, 2021 that included a bunch of creators going on a live panel on Natasha Cooper and claiming that there were 16 victims of LAWna Oriani?
Objection to all this.
Yeah, sustained.
We talked on the phone for an hour and 29 minutes on August 6, 2021. I'm sorry, August 6, 2021. Do you recall what that conversation was about?
Vaguely, but based on the rest of this, it was about the live that I contacted you about.
So your business manager, James Angelo, didn't contact me to get into an NDA on May 31st,
Objection.
just days after.
Relevance and lack of foundation.
Sustained.
Ms. Walsh, do you know about a sex scandal on YouTube?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Ms. Walsh, you stated in your TPO that I admitted that I had been stalking you for over a year. How was I stalking you?
Back in December
How
or currently?
You said, in your TPO, you say, she has been stalking me for a year. So this was filed January 13th, 2021. So January 13th, or I'm sorry, 22. So let's go back to 2021.
If you're referring to what I just found out about back in December,
I'm asking, how have I been stalking you? How did I admit to stalking you?
you didn't admit what you did before you said anything.
So then therefore, is this then an incorrect statement on your,
No, Ms. Oriani, you've asked a very
okay.
broad question, and this witness is entitled to answer it fully.
I agree, Your Honor. Please,
Go ahead.
I didn't know until recently about December 31st, 2021, or 2020. You had told me that Andrea Powers was stalking me, and you attributed everything you had done to Andrea, and now I saw proof that you actually did it. Andrea did not.
where's that proof?
I have it.
The proof that I've been stalking you through Andrea Powers?
Yes.
Ms. Walsh, have I ever attempted to get into any of your Patreon groups or Facebook groups?
Yes.
I've been a member.
Yes.
When?
I don't remember the exact date you joined.
Does August 2021 ring a bell?
That could be correct.
So, who was a member of your Facebook group near Andrea Powers in 2020 to 2021? December 20th, 2020 to August 2021. Was I a member or was Andrea Powers a member?
Well, both of you are members at one time.
Was I a member of your group from December 2020 to August 2021? Was I a member during that time period?
No, not unless you were under.
Was I a member?
Let her answer the question, Ms. Oriani.
I can 100% attest to that because people join under fake accounts all the time. Am I aware of your name joining? No, not until you say if it's August. It was around that time.
Around what time?
August of 2021 when we were speaking.
So I didn't join your group until after speaking to you, after you reached out to me.
That I'm aware of.
Isn't that correct?
That doesn't mean you weren't.
Do you have any evidence to prove that I've been in your group prior to August 2021?
I don't have any evidence in what form.
Because I wasn't in your
No,
group.
no, Ms. Oriani, it's not an appropriate question. It's been asked and answered, and then the commentary on the end is not. And if you don't stop the commentary, I'm going to stop the questioning. Okay, you have the right to testify, but not to comment on another witness's credibility.
Ms. Walsh, isn't it true that you have a helper by the name of Melissa B?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Ms. Walsh, have you ever kicked out Andrea Powers from your groups?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Ms. Walsh, do you remember when we talked through Facebook application that I had no idea that you lived in Denver, Colorado?
I'm objecting to lack of foundation.
Lack of foundation, and it also calls for hearsay because while it would be a statement of a party opponent if offered by the plaintiff, it's being offered for the truth of the matter asserted by the defendant. Therefore, it's not a party opponent offering it. So that objection is sustained.
Ms. Walsh, have you ever been a member of Fight for a Family nonprofit organization?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Ms. Walsh, to promote your YouTube channel Unmasked, do you use any other social media applications?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Ms. Walsh, have you ever made posts about Ms. Oriani?
Objection, relevance.
I'm going to allow that question.
I can't remember the exact dates, but I believe there was one post about you in a private group, well, about your organization as it relates to the Chris Law case.
In evidence that I sent over, I'd like to show the witness. A post, may I approach?
Ms. Oriani, can you tell me what you are referring to and where?
Yes, I can tell you this will be BB, but I'll give you the number that's on that Dropbox.
Which file is it in?
It should be in, it's exhibit on map 832-2.
Is that in the order exhibit?
Yes.
Sorry, say it again.
Yeah, 832_2.
I have it. In our story of the court, this appears to be a printout of a screenshot of text messages between two people, neither of whom are here today.
Well, that would go to the authentication, and I think that objection's premature. Let's see what the witness says when it's offered to her for her authentication. Ms. Oriani, let's start with the authentication.
Is that a message on your,
First of all, do you recognize
do
it?
you recognize that screenshot?
No, but I have so many messages, it looks like it's my account.
From the Unmasked Patreon Lounge.
Possibly.
I'd like to submit with the order there's more for her authentication.
You'd like to what?
I would like to submit a couple more documents to go
Well, you
with.
you need to establish who this person is.
Yeah, I was asking her to read this.
No, not until it's admitted.
Okay.
Who is Unmasked Patreon Lounge? Is that you?
No, that's Miss Walsh's.
Well, I haven't heard that.
Miss Walsh is Unmasked Patreon Lounge, your Facebook group.
And so I apologize, just so I'm looking at the correct exhibit. I'm looking at something that looks like the top is a text message or a message from somebody named Kim Taylor Pate. I don't see anything about Patreon Lounge. Am I looking at the correct thing? I'm looking at 832_2.
Yeah, I'm asking her if that's from this group that she has.
I have multiple groups, it's possible it is, I don't know, there's no.
Ms. Oriani, let me clarify. So you think because this person that sent the text message was with a group that the plaintiff belongs to, that it's going to be allowed in? I'm going to sustain that objection. This is hearsay. This Kim Taylor Pate, I haven't seen the exhibit, that's what I wrote down. That person needs to be here, not...
There's a message that's underneath it that Miss Walsh is speaking to.
No, it's inappropriate. I'm not going to allow that.
Okay.
There needs to be a proper foundation.
Miss Walsh, how do you promote Unmasked YouTube?
Objection asked and answered, and objection to relevance.
Okay, well, I don't ask and answer it. I would allow relevance. Why is that relevant? Ms. Oriani?
Because she has stated that she has multiple social media avenues that she promotes Unmasked, the YouTube channel.
Okay.
And within those, I was asking her if she made these statements as...
I'm not going to allow that.
Okay.
We're going down a rabbit hole.
That's fine. Ms. Walsh, again, how did you say that you knew Ms. Oriani, myself?
That's asked and answered. Ms. Oriani, I'm becoming impatient. For the record, it's now 12:15. We still have two other witnesses to go. We were set for, it says 1 hour hearing. I was prepared to go 3 hours, and we're now at that mark. So I'm going to ask you to speed things up. Cut to the chase here, because we still have a redirect and two other witnesses to get to.
Isn't it in fact that Ms. Oriani blocked you on December 21st, 2021, not the other way around, Ms. Walsh?
Your objection, this doesn't have any relevance to the grounds that the court has to consider for a permanent injunction.
I'm going to allow that question.
No, that's false. I blocked you. In fact, you talked about it on your live that you pulled down and you did cry about it.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
She had a live broadcast after I blocked her and she discussed that fact and you did cry at the end.
Where was this live
Hold
at?
it.
Hold on, don't interrupt, Ms. Oriani. You've asked a question, and I'm asking to hear the end of the question.
And at the end of the live, she started crying and people were comforting her in the chat. And you said that you thought I was your friend and you have pulled that live. It is no longer public.
So you, Ms. Walsh, have all these copies of all these other videos, but the one that I state that I Did you block me and I'm crying? That one's nowhere to be found.
You don't get a comment on credibility here.
Ms. Walsh, are you aware of how many videos I've done on YouTube?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Ms. Walsh, I'm still not clear on how you're in imminent danger of me.
That's a question for me to answer.
Okay.
Ms. Oriani.
Ms. Walsh, do you consider yourself a limited purpose public figure?
Objection, she's asking Ms. Walsh to comment on a legal standard that's for the finder of fact to consider.
Sustained.
Ms. Walsh, are you aware that I was in OK and People magazine?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Ms. Walsh, isn't it true that you filed a temporary restraining order because I was talking about your business associate, James Angelo, having a PPO out on him and filed October 25th, 2022?
Objection, that has been asked and answered on cross-examination.
And I find that it's very limited on relevance, and it has been asked and answered. Let's move on, Ms. Oriani.
Ms. Walsh, have I ever contacted you via phone
Through Facebook Messenger, yes.
after you contacted me?
Are you asking me if you've ever called me on the phone?
Correct.
Yes, you have. Through Facebook Messenger.
Did you pick up the phone?
A lot of times I did not.
Are you aware that we have had over 10 hours of phone conversations, Ms. Walsh?
Yes, at the end.
Ms. Walsh, didn't you ask me to get into an NDA with you?
Objection, relevance. And also, I object to the form of the question. I don't know what getting into an NDA is.
As to the form of the question, I'm going to sustain it. I don't have any type of time period. I know there's been some discussion about an NDA already brought up. I think we fleshed that out fully. I'm going to have Ms. Oriani move on now.
Can I rephrase that question, Your Honor?
You can try. I don't know if I'm going to allow it, but I'll give you an opportunity to rephrase it.
Why would you need an NDA to speak to anybody, Ms. Walsh?
Objection, relevance.
After that, I'm going to sustain. That's way too broad.
Ms. Walsh, you testified that you haven't been putting up content due to this causing you stress.
Correct?
I would like to submit into evidence CC, Social Blade Unmasked, information.
Okay, well, you're not allowed to submit it into evidence until you first present
Yeah.
it to the witness.
Can I present and approach the witness with a document?
Yes, you may.
Can you direct me to where to find that, Ms. Oriani? There you go. Where is that in your Dropbox?
It should be one of the first ones.
Which file is it in?
Let's see.
can just look at the video that Ms. Walsh is holding. Okay.
Ms. Walsh, have you seen that document before? Or see that website before?
Yes.
And can you state for the record what the name of that website is?
Socialaid.com.
And as a YouTuber, that keeps track of our production.
Well, actually, it keeps track of a lot of things, but it keeps track of the views and then subscribers specifically.
Okay, does it also keep track of when you go live and post a video?
I'm not sure. It shows your last.
Here, I'm going to object. I'm going to tell you right now to this exhibit because it is what appears to me to be a document from a website showing analytics about YouTube channels. It is hearsay, and I object to the document or to people testifying about its contents.
All right. There's a hearsay objection. Do you believe that it meets an exception to the hearsay rule? Ms. Oriani, if so, which one?
I agree that it meets the exception due to the fact that this is the website that we as YouTubers use to grade our production. But it's fine if I can rephrase the question.
The court will sustain the hearsay objection. That exhibit is not to be referred to or used.
That's perfect. Ms. Walsh, when's the last time you produced a video?
Objection, relevance.
Well, actually, I think it is relevant. This witness has testified that this has caused her emotional distress and she's not blogging like she used to. So I don't know that the question helps the defense, but I'm going to overrule that objection. When's the last time you?
December.
Okay. And let me finish that. When's the last time you, I guess, posted a video?
It was December, end of December,
Okay. Why?
because that's exactly when all this started up.
December of what?
This year.
This
I
year
thought all
it
this
hasn't
started up.
happened. This is
December, sorry, I keep doing that, apologize. December of 2021 is my last video, public.
When was your video before December 2021?
I have no idea without going and looking it up.
You have no idea when your last video before December 2021 was?
No,
Isn't it because you haven't been producing content, Ms. Walsh, since
Oriani,
August?
you have to, when you ask a question, I realize now that, the adrenaline gets going, but you have to wait for an answer. Because
Sorry about
otherwise
that.
it's just not good manners. To the best of your recollection, when was your last posting before December of 2021?
It was in the fall. I actually had really high views because I was covering Gabby Petito. I had over 100,000 views on those videos.
So is that when you get a Petito go missing? Do you recall?
Objection, relevance.
Okay.
She's answered your question.
Okay, so you produced a video in the fall, and then you didn't produce anything. So September, October, November, December. So for 4 months prior to your last posting, you didn't post anything, which would have nothing to do with.
Incorrect. I had multiple videos on Gabby Petito. I don't remember the specific dates, but I know that it was through the fall, and then my last interview was, I think, December 17th, 18th-ish, something around there. I'd have to look it up.
Ms. Walsh, don't you go live every Wednesday on your Patreon group?
Objection, relevance.
I think it goes to impeachment as to the last statement.
Can I give you background on that?
Well, you're going to need to, but answer that question first.
Yes,
And then you
correct.
can explain.
Okay. Yes,
So then it would be a dishonest statement that you haven't been going live.
incorrect. I didn't say live. You said, when did I post a video? I posted my last public video. That's a different thing. That's not public YouTube. That's a private membership only group. And because I haven't posted any videos and I've lost so much money over this, I can't not show up to those on Wednesday because it's the income, the only income that I now have. But I did cancel quite a few of those over this. And I did lose members.
Over what, Ms. Walsh?
Having to cancel these, who knows?
So none of this has to do with the fact that there was a sex scandal within your team that you told me about.
I'm objecting to the question about whatever the sex.
Well, she can answer that question.
I would have no idea of why each person left when I have hundreds of people.
So now
I
you
can tell you that I'm not putting anything out, so I don't really blame them for getting frustrated and leaving.
I'm confused by the answer, Ms. Walsh.
Well, you're stuck with it.
So Ms. Walsh, what you're saying here today is that you are aware of a sex scandal within your team that caused people to leave your group?
I'm objecting because that calls for speculation.
Yeah, well, on that note, the objection is sustained. She said she doesn't know why people left her group, but she did testify that she has only made 2 videos in the past 4 months and that she has lost a lot of money as a result. I don't think that goes in your favor, Ms. Oriani.
Well, I'm trying to show that it's actually not to do with me. It's to
Then
do
you're
with...
going to need to do it in a different way
Okay.
because you're stuck with the answers she gave
Okay,
you.
so Ms. Walsh,
I'm going to give you 10 more minutes and then I'm going to cut you off, Ms. Oriani.
Ms. Walsh, on December 28th, you put that there was a live, December 29th, 2021, LAWna went live on a broadcast on her channel, Truth and Transparency, and spoke with me for 5 hours. And then you said that there was a woman by the name of Stephanie on my panel. Are you aware that Stephanie, who worked for you, has a PPO out and filed on 10/25/2021 ex parte for a year?
You've lost me. One thought per question.
Okay.
Okay, you're trying to introduce evidence improperly right now, Ms. Oriani. So you may ask her questions.
Okay. Ms. Walsh, so your testimony here today is that the decline with your channel has nothing to do with the fact that you didn't have anybody to help you make content.
I make my own
I object
videos.
to the form of the question. There hasn't been any such testimony, but she's asking it as if there are cases.
Correct. That objection is sustained.
Okay. Ms. Walsh, you put in your TPO that I went to a tire store to get a receipt. Why did I go to the tire store to get a receipt?
I can't tell you why you did something, but you can ask me. I mean, I don't. Why did you stay on the live? Why did you decide to do it?
Well, isn't it true that I went to the tire store to get a receipt?
Ms. Oriani, no, that's an improper question already.
Okay.
You're asking her to speculate as to your motive. So you may testify, but it's not a proper question of this witness.
Let me rephrase that question, Your Honor. Did you tell me that James Angela was a sociopath?
Objection of relevance.
Sustained.
Ms. Walsh, why did you ask me to get into an NDA?
Objection to relevance and lack of foundation.
Sustained, and the court has previously ruled on that.
I would like to approach the witness with a document. Our conversations, can you authenticate?
I'm objecting to Ms. Oriani testifying about what this is.
Yeah, go ahead and show plaintiff counsel and hand the exhibit over.
Okay.
And then the first question is, do you recognize this exhibit? How do you recognize this exhibit? What is this exhibit?
Those are messages between me and Ms.
Please
Walsh.
stop talking about it.
What is this exhibit marked, Ms. Oriani?
Double I.
Ms. Oriani, you've got 5 minutes left.
Yes. Ms. Walsh, in December of 2021, weren't you telling me that you didn't have time for me and the drama because you were busy making content?
Are you talking about these screenshots?
I'll get to those in a second.
Ms. Oriani, no, I cautioned you, Ms. Oriani. The first question is, do you recognize this? How do you recognize this is the second question. And then the third question is, what is this? And then you may start asking questions about this if it's been introduced and I find that it's relevant. But until those three things happen, it's not even appropriate to ask a question about it. You've got multiple pages there. I don't know.
It's because they got mixed up, so I have to submit this over here so that they can see it.
What are you showing them? What is the
I thought
exhibit number?
I thought that I gave her the right ones. And
Okay, so is this double I?
I'm looking at a piece of
This
paper
is actually
that says,
C.
excuse me, C at the top and 5 at the bottom.
it's page 5 of C. Alright. Sorry about that, Your Honor. I gave her the wrong one. I do apologize.
Ms. Walsh, are you looking at a screenshot of mine and your conversation in December?
Yes.
Can you read off what it says when I asked you if you checked a live out that I did?
I object.
What grounds?
I object because Ms. Oriani is asking Ms. Walsh to look at a document that hasn't been really fully described, that hasn't been admitted into evidence as an exhibit, and is asking her to read aloud from it, which sounds a lot like asking for hearsay.
Okay.
Ms. Oriani, please establish foundation.
Ms. Walsh, is that mine and yours communication in December of 2021 via Facebook Messenger application?
Yes.
Is it a,
Can you read the date off that's on there?
December 3rd, 2021.
Can you authenticate that as conversation between me and you?
Looks familiar. Yes.
okay, now what is your objection?
My objection was principally to Ms. Oriani asking Ms. Walsh to read aloud from the exhibit.
Okay, well, I have no idea what this conversation is, but it sounds like conversation between the two parties, so I think it fits a hearsay exception. I don't know how it might be relevant other than we have bantered around December of 2021 quite a bit today, so I'm inclined to allow it in.
Here also, I'm sorry, to supplement my objection, my notes show that like the other exhibits that Ms. Oriani has approached with, none have been tendered and none have been admitted, and I don't have a copy. I did take a look, but I don't have a copy.
All right, well, I'm going to allow the admission of this particular document. It sounds like a very short exhibit. Ask one last question and your time is up, Ms. Oriani.
Ms. Walsh, can you read what you wrote back when I asked you about looking at a video of mine?
I say I haven't even watched your live yet driving.
All right, thank you. Go ahead and hand that to me. The court will accept exhibit, or page 5 of exhibit C. That is the only document that has been admitted by the defense. All right, if you've noticed, my clerk left for lunch about 40 minutes ago. I'm not allowed to keep her through. Folks, I have a docket this afternoon. I have a temporary protection order at 1:30, and then I have a case at 2, and then another case at 3:30. So the short of it is we're running out of time. So I'm prepared to give the parties up until 1:30 to be heard. So based on that, do you have any redirect of your client?
No, Your Honor, we'll move on to the next witness.
All right. I have a few more questions that have been raised that I'm curious about, Ms. Walsh. I try not to play too active of a role, but I am curious about the posting of videos. Okay, you said that you had posted a video regarding Gabby Petito. How many videos did you post?
I believe there's 2.
Okay.
Actually, I'm sorry, there's 3.
And is there any type of subscription agreement where you are required in exchange for the subscription to post a particular amount of videos for your subscribers?
In my page, my private membership group, yes.
What are you expected to produce?
I'm expected to do early release and
This is beta is not in the upstairs or downstairs hallway or ladies' room, and I can't see her immediately outside of the courthouse from the upstairs or downstairs window. Ms. King, who I think has been hanging out with her, advises that she can't reach her on the phone.
All right. Well, what is your request then?
Well, we can call Ms. King first and see if Ms. Abeda comes back. It appears to me at this point that she's disregarded the court's order to remain in the courthouse until she's called to testify.
All right. Well, before I issue a warrant for her arrest or do anything that drastic, I believe Ms. Beta was the one that did not feel well, correct?
She has cancer, remember?
She doesn't feel well in the sense that she is a cancer patient. I don't think there was a concern about her feeling any particular type of way today.
Okay. Well, I'm going to check with court security when they return. Again, we've been plowing through the lunch hour on this case. So let's go ahead and call your next witness then, and that should get court security back here.
Thank you.